Thank you. Good to see you. Thanks.
Neil, I think a slightly larger introduction is probably in order than that. Many people in the audience here are familiar with Amazon, especially how it's changing Seattle's skyline. Buildings are propping up all the time, and some even just on a monthly basis. I think you might have seen them on the way in from the airport. But maybe you can paint a picture for everyone in the audience on what Walmart's technology operations look like and where they are. They're not in Bentonville.
Well, great. Thank you, Tricia, and thank you all for spending a little time together today. I've been coming to Seattle regularly for a really long time, and it's great to see the vibrancy of the community, even the presentations earlier. So kudos to all that's going on here. So, you know Walmart as the world's largest retailer. I think everybody does, approaching about $500 billion in sales. But we're also one of the world's largest, fastest growing, and most dynamic e-commerce organizations. So we created Walmart e-commerce in its current incarnation in the 2011, 2012, based in Silicon Valley. We've been growing pretty dramatically there over the last several years, and we're responsible now for e-commerce at Walmart around the world. So Walmart.com in all the markets we exist. We're in about 10 markets in the vast majority of the e-commerce markets around the world.
Okay. As for a comment on Amazon's size and presence here, I think you were joking earlier that Amazon might actually have more physical cement and bricks than you guys.
They have a lot of bricks and mortar here, but I remember when, didn't they used to be in a hospital?
They did.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm just glad that they're moving out of the hospital.
Okay. Can you give us a sense of size in San Bruno? That's where the offices are. I've been there a couple times, but maybe you actually want to visually place people there.
Yeah. So as Tricia mentioned, our e-commerce headquarters are in San Bruno in the northern part of the peninsula in Silicon Valley. We also have a campus in Sunnyvale where we've opened a couple of buildings. So we're over 2,000 professionals in Silicon Valley now, where we've been growing, obviously, dramatically to build out this e-commerce business. And if you walked into our offices, any of them, San Bruno or Silicon Valley, they would feel a lot like an internet startup to you. One of the key decisions that we took early on, the company, in creating e-commerce and then recruiting guys like me and the folks that we've assembled, is that the right course of action for us was to build an internet technology company inside the world's largest retailer, not to try and build a retailer in Silicon Valley. And so we are very much that. We are an internet technology company. We run in agile sprints. We had an awesome demo day a couple of weeks ago where we had over 70 tech and business teams focused on the stuff that they had shipped over the course of the last week. And so when you're there, it would feel very, very familiar to you, and we feel that's really important, because that ties us to what is actually important, which are serving these evolving customer needs. And people talk about that so much that it becomes trite, but really innovation, the kind of innovation that's going on here, the kind of innovation that we're doing, I believe happens when you spark a consumer's imagination, and then they take you where they want you to go. And we feel like the customer's taking us to a new form of commerce, a commerce that doesn't force them to make choices, that whether it's their smartphone or their tablet or their browser or their car or our store, they just want to satisfy their wants and needs. And so we're aggressively moving the whole company towards that, what we believe that future is, that fusion of digital and physical.
Yes, so can you give some examples from the current Walmart? Because I know, for example, people can order online, pick up in the store. At what stage of the physical-digital integration are you, and how is it manifesting itself so far?
Well, the cool thing about this is you can't say, well, we're going to be like that, because that doesn't exist yet. And so I'll give you two what I think are really, really good examples. The first one is pretty obvious. We can use our 4,000 stores around the country and our 11,000 stores around the world as both a customer interaction point, so a place you can pick up your product, you can see things. We want to be the best showroom in town for that, as well as a physical distribution point. We obviously have a lot of product. We have we have a store in the U.S. within 5 miles of about 2/3 of the population, so that we can use it for that. So obviously, the physical piece is really important. But I want to talk a little bit about Savings Catcher. Have you guys seen Savings Catcher? It's an app that we launched in the last little bit. It's a great example of the integration of digital and physical, because so what happens if you haven't seen it is you go into a store, you buy your shop, you may have 50 or 100 items, you scan your receipt code. We've built technology that connects, obviously, the mobile device to the POS system, and we go and we compare that to all of the advertised prices in your market. And if somebody happened to have a lower price, then we refund that difference to you in an e-card that you can use in one of our stores or on Walmart.com. It's a great example of pulling together all the pieces of the puzzle for the benefit of the customer, and it happens just in their smartphone.
This brings me to a personal experience I had recently, and I was shopping online, and I was looking for a swing for my kid to swing him outside. And I actually shop on Walmart.com occasionally because they have great prices, as it turns out. And
go figure.
Yeah.
By the way, as an aside, I don't mean to interrupt your question, but I was a little disappointed. Everyone kept saying you could buy that on Amazon. For the record, drones are for sale at Walmart.com. You can go there and get them there too. So don't, I know you're a little Seattle-centric, but come on, you can go there too.
Maybe they're cheaper. Maybe they're cheaper on Walmart.com.
In fact, I'm sure they probably are.
Right. So I was looking for the swing. It was the same swing, and the app very nicely tells you if it's available in your nearest store, which for me is 17 miles away, so it's a little bit further. And it was $20 online and $13 in the store. Why is that?
It sounds like we made a mistake. It generally isn't like that. But
I did not want to drive 34 miles to save $7.
So the pricing is a very interesting topic. In an online world, there is dynamic pricing. So we are evaluating the price of our goods that are for sale, and we sell about 7 or 8 million items online. Your typical store, we have the biggest ones. They sell 100, 150,000 items, something like that. So there's a lot more online. And we are comparing those prices all the time to try and make sure that we have the lowest price. Occasionally, we'll make a mistake, and it sounds like we made a mistake in your instance.
It was still the cheapest price. It was $27 on Target and $21. It was just $1 more expensive on Amazon. So I don't know. It was kind of this baffling experience for me, and I didn't end up buying it.
Yeah, well, I'm sorry about that. We made a mistake. So normally what would happen was you would find us, 4 out of 5 times we'll have the lowest price online, and you'll have the option of either having us send that to you or you can pick it up at our store. So that's what's supposed to happen, but sounds like we made a mistake. So I hope your son ended up in a good swing.
No, I didn't buy it. I was just so many options,
we can take care of that.
So perhaps in some markets, I think, Tricia, you could have taken advantage of a service called Walmart to Go. I don't know if you want to get into that a little bit, Neil, but this is basically the idea of delivery. And delivery is a very big topic right now, particularly with the delivery wars between Amazon and Google and many others out there. Where are you as a company and in your unit in particular on the topic of delivery right now?
Yeah, so delivery is a big topic, and Walmart to Go is just a piece of that puzzle. But first on the broader delivery topic, we want to make product available to you in the most efficient way. Tricia may choose to drive those whatever distance to that store because that's the most convenient thing for her, or she might choose to have it shipped to her home. We want to provide either of those options so that it's most convenient for you, however you'd like to be served. Walmart to Go applies that same logic to basically grocery and consumables and the stuff that you find kind of you're shopping for on a regular basis. So we've been doing that in San Jose for a while, and we've been ramping that up in Denver. And we find that, not surprisingly, customers are really excited about that. They're excited about the opportunity to manage their time a little bit more wisely, to have obviously to have access to Walmart prices with that kind of convenience and access attached to it. And so we think that's a wave of the future that we're really focused on.
Okay, good.
And what about using the physical stores as distribution centers, where you actually are shipping product from the store to the consumer?
So we do that as well. So we use about 100 of our stores are what we call ship-from-store locations, so that we can take the product there because it's generally pretty close to customers, and we can ship that. We think of them as nodes in a network. So in addition to those stores, we also have large fulfillment centers and, not surprisingly, a very large logistics network that serves those 4,000 stores around the country. And that flow gives us options and opportunity to serve people fast and effectively in a number of different ways, and the stores are an interesting component of that.
Okay. So, but more in the future, we'll be shipping from the store?
We'll see. We don't need to ship from every store, and stores are meant to be shopped from. So we also don't want to get in the way of customers while they're there getting their goods. So you'll see more and more of that.
I was wondering if the physical store was going to start changing. It's going to have more warehouse space. How will it look in the future for the customer walking in through the door? In they're just picking something up versus shopping, or do you physically have to change the format of the store?
I think you're
I guess I'm asking the e-commerce guy.
You're asking a fascinating question. I mean, if you think about what is a store experience going to be like 10 years from now, we obviously spend a fair amount of time thinking about that. We think that it's going to evolve pretty interestingly, that the customer, it will be a sensory experience that is a combination of your phone and mobile devices and the product that we have available there and can get you access to in other places. That with a combination of capabilities like savings catcher or searching in your store and a number of different pickup and delivery options all roll back into one. One of the cool heritages of Walmart, obviously, is that it grew up in relatively small markets, and so our large stores have been a center of town for many folks, and so which is a cool part of the evolution, and I think a really important part of what they'll be going forward.
Neil, we showed us this slide earlier that shows Walmart's global e-commerce revenue. You exceeded 10 billion in your most recent fiscal year. The 2015 number was a projection at the same time. So you guys you're doing things right.
It's actually growing faster than Amazon.
It's growing faster than Amazon. So then let's look at this next slide. So this then is a slide that shows the relative size. So just generally, how do you compete with this? How do you get a toehold and really take on a giant like this in online commerce?
Well, I think the simple answer is if you put another bubble over to the left, it would be a lot bigger than that also.
Right, just online. Now, if you looked at Walmart physical retail, that's a completely different picture. So is that one way that you're planning to really get leverage there?
So our purpose is to help people save money so they can live better. That's what drives the organization. That's the business model derives from that. It is built upon that. And so our job is to help you, a mom, help her live with her family and provide what they need to eat, clothe, go back to school, et cetera, in a way that's better than anyone else. It isn't to be in the business of operating stores or operating websites. It's in the business of solving that mom's challenges. And so what's interesting about kind of the general conversation about the future of commerce is that it's a conversation of or. Are you buying online or are you walking into a store? And I have not yet met a single person that wakes up in the morning and says, I'm going to be a multi-channel shopper today. So Tricia says, I want a swing set, or she says, I need to get some groceries for this week, or I want that cool new drone that you were demoing today. And it's our job to provide that. And so the distinctions, especially for our company going forward, are going to be significantly diminished. We want you to shop at Walmart because you can trust Walmart, and Walmart can serve you better than anyone else.
Do you see a moment then where sales online eclipse physical sales?
Before I did this, I was in the business of selling digital advertising, and so we would try and tell we told the story of influenced sales, and that effectively the internet influences every sale. So I don't know how you count it going forward. What is an online sale? What isn't? We want Walmart to serve more customers more effectively whether they walk into our store, use their phone, their tablet, or one of our browsers.
Yeah. On that point, this summer you rolled out a major homepage redesign, and a lot of the focus that you have is on an increase in mobile usage. Can you talk through the company's strategy when it comes to mobile, especially when you're talking about the multi-channel consumer?
Yeah, sure. So we started out, you asked kind of the San Bruno, and what do all those people do anyway? So we started out by saying, what, we need to reinvent our technology platform. We need to insource all of the technology capabilities. And so over the last 2.5 years, basically, we've rebuilt everything from the data centers to the mobile apps and everything in between. And that allows us to have an integrated platform that can serve in any digital environment and can attach to our stores. And so that unleashes the mobile as a tool for our customers and over time for our associates as well. So that tool is one that helps mom find what she wants, our customer to be more satisfied. So that's Savings Catcher. That's a way to integrate the digital and physical experience. That's Store Search, finding what you want when you're in our store. We've obviously tried a bunch of other things on mobile that we were frankly ahead of our time a little bit on. We had Scan and Go where you could progressively check yourself out, but we were way ahead of the customer. So we are completely and entirely reiterating on the mobile experience because we know they're going to get there. It's, we get the question a lot, how many of your customers have smartphones? Our working assumption is that all of them have smartphones, because if they don't, we hope to sell them one in the near future. And
you actually sell iPhones, unlike someone else.
We sell iPhones, we sell Androids, I don't know whether we sell Blackberries, actually, to the earlier point, but
you definitely do not sell.
I do know we sell iPhone and Android.
You
so.
definitely do not sell the Fire Phone.
No, we don't. Does anybody?
Wow.
Well, actually, I think somebody does sell them. I guess the bigger question is, does anybody buy them?
So you actually use the term showrooming or showroom. Your store is a showroom. And I thought that was kind of a dirty word in retail. I thought you didn't want people coming in with their smartphone and scanning and then buying online and walking out without buying anything in the store.
It's not a bad word at Walmart. I was sitting with Mike Duke, who was our CEO, who recruited me to the company, and we were talking about showrooming, and he said, Neil, he said, if people want a showroom, we're going to be the best darn showroom in town. And that's the way we approach it. And it's our job to earn that sale from you when you're there. And we believe that we do. We can. We provide you the access and the service and the price that is compelling, that says you should buy that from us. And that's on us. That's not on the customer. So if people want to come into our stores and see things, awesome. We want them to be there.
Okay. Do you feel like people are coming in and scanning and leaving?
No, obviously not.
No.
You buy everything you need while you're at Walmart. But I think we all know that customer behavior is changing. Our own behavior is changing. And you bring up perhaps an interesting angle on this, which is that shopping has always been a pretty social experience. There are a number of different reasons why you walk into a store. Some walk in with a feeling of utility. How can I get what I need and get out of here as quickly as possible? Others walk in and say, you know what? I want to be among the crowd. I want to see the new stuff. I want to be able to touch something, and I want to be among these other people that are doing that. All of those are incredibly valid reasons to walk through the front door of that store, and we want to serve each of those reasons with equal utility.
Yeah. So obviously, Tricia was mentioning earlier the development facility that you have in San Bruno, California. Other retailers like Staples have established engineering centers. So our GeekWire news team over here is waiting for you to break the news of your new Seattle Engineering Center. Is that something you can do here today? How's that for a leading question?
So we have, as I mentioned, we have San Bruno and Sunnyvale and Silicon Valley. We also have Portland and Carlsbad and Sao Paulo and Bangalore. We want to go where the talent is. So we admire the talent that's here and what you guys are doing, but we don't have an announcement to make while we're here today.
All right, well, I'm sure Tricia will stay in touch with you on that. So will you promise
she
us
calls regularly and asks, so you can count on her to break the story.
That's right. Yeah. So this is great stuff. So we're winding down here with just sort of you want to throw out a last question?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I guess at the heart of all this, you've talked a lot about your innovation, and it's starting to cost a lot of money. Walmart had to revise its earnings this year, saying they're going to be less profitable because of all the investments being made in e-commerce, among other things. And then at the same time, actually, you're projecting online revenues to only be 25% year-over-year growth instead of 30%. So I'm sort of wondering, how do you grapple with that? Are those, maybe you can explain that to us.
Yeah, I mean, simply put, we have incredibly high aspirations. So for our growth, and frankly, if we'd never said how much we wanted to grow, people would have been really excited about where we were growing. And we're committed to doing this right. We're committed to building the best technology, the best fulfillment centers, the best delivery capabilities, so that we can serve customers better than others. There are going to be some quarters where we grow faster than others, and we're going to make the investments necessary to serve customers in next year and the years beyond.
Yeah, one of our attendees, Neil, just asked a really good question. David Geller asked, what about Apple Pay? Is that something that you guys would embrace and go with, the notion of using the new Apple NFC technology to check out inside of a Walmart store?
So our view on payments is really straightforward. We want frictionless commerce at the lowest net cost for our customer. And we want to have a relationship with our customer in all those settings. And so there's a number of stuff going on. Apple Pay is just but one of, as you know, a number of different payment technologies that we're looking at all the time. So we haven't announced anything, but our philosophy is we're in the business of trying to help our customers get what they want in a frictionless way at the lowest net cost to them.
Okay.
I thought maybe you said Alipay.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Apple Pay.
Apple Pay. Yes.
So-
Apple Pay.
He definitely said Apple Pay. I was paying attention.
What about China and Alibaba? Can you briefly touch on your Chinese plans?
Sure. We are the majority owner of a business called Yihaodian in China, which is one of the fastest growing e-commerce businesses in China. It's obviously a lot smaller than Alibaba, but it's a leader in its segment, which is the sale of fast-moving consumer goods. Think dry groceries, consumables, those sorts of things in large cities, tier 1 cities, Shanghai, Beijing, Guangzhou, places like that. And we believe that that's a really interesting and business for us to. We also have a bunch of stores, obviously, in China. That's a great way for us to serve the Chinese customer, and we can do that exceptionally well, and we will going forward.
Okay, good stuff. Well, Neil Ashe from Walmart, thank you very much for being here with us today.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you.